You were not brought into this world to get it.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the January 2024 book haul, y'all. I bought a bunch of books in January. I didn't intend to go out and buy a bunch of books in January. It just so happened. I stumbled into some things that I really wanted, stumbled into some cool deals from an author, and I stumbled into some big-time sales and decided, well, shoot, I better buy them before I have trouble getting them. So, without any further ado, I want to talk about a few of these books. So the very first one I want to show you, I got a problem. It's in plastic, and I didn't take it out of the plastic yet, but I will. In fact, I'll go ahead and do that now. There's a fellow on the Facebook named Mitch Hull, and he owns this company that makes beer called Rapture Brewing. I recommend you look into it. Anyway, Mitch Hull from time to time will contact me and say, hey, I got something, are you interested? Because he's a good guy like that. He gives me a chance to decide if it's something that I want before he moves on and finds another buyer. So thanks, Mitch. I sure appreciate you looking out for me, hooking a brother up. But in this case, it was a book, an advanced review copy, or an ARC, if you will, from Levin Publications by an author named Dean Koontz. Ever hear of him? And this one is Elsewhere. And I haven't opened it yet, but I will get it out of the plastic. I don't keep my books in the plastic. I know a lot of people do, and I know if you're trying to sell stuff, it may be more attractive to buyers if you buy something new in package or something like that, or still sealed and all that kind of stuff. But I don't keep it that way. I like to get it out of the plastic for lots of reasons, but ultimately I just don't want it in the plastic. I don't want to be sealed up. I want to be able to open it up, look inside, take a look. So it is out. It's out. Now it's out. The cat's out of the bag. The book's out of the sealed shrink wrap there. But there is Elsewhere. And this is an ARC. And certain levels of the Brian James Freeman / Levin Publications Patreon subscribers get the ARCs as they're published from the authors. And Mitch Hull is one of them. And like I said, sometimes I'll get the ARCs from him, the ones that he doesn't want to keep or whatever. But I want to flip through here because Levin Publications is a phenomenal publisher. They make signed limited editions, and the advanced review copy is essentially a trade softcover version of those books. And so I just want to kind of show you what to expect. They put in a lot of illustrations. Their numbered editions have black and white illustrations. The lettered editions have color illustrations. I'm not going to show them all to you, but I will show you some. And of course, the signed numbered editions will be higher quality paper and higher quality images and such as that. But these ARCs are kind of cool. I like ARCs when they look good, as opposed to the old-fashioned plain old ARCs with no artwork on the cover and stuff. But just show you some of the artwork from this book, Dean Koontz, Elsewhere. Glad to have it in my very modest Dean Koontz collection, but this is one of them. Stick it right up here, out of the way. Next, I want to show you a couple of movie novelizations. It's actually the same movie, but there's a publisher out there called Encyclopocalypse. Ever hear of them? And I've shown you some books from Encyclopocalypse, and I've shown you some movie novelizations, and I dig them. I'm a fan. A lot of folks don't really buy into the movie novelizations, but I love them. And I collect movie novelizations for movies that I like, and this movie is one of those guilty pleasures. It's difficult to recommend to anyone without them saying you're an idiot. But it's, like I said, a guilty pleasure, a movie that you kind of watch it tongue-in-cheek, a little bit of irony in there, and it's an enjoyable film. But Encyclopocalypse published a trade, mass market paperback version to be more like the typical movie novelization, and then a slightly larger trade size softcover version of the novelization. And I'd bought some books from them before, and I didn't order these, just waiting on more to come, so I buy a batch of books instead of just one or two. Meanwhile, the author of the novelization Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, named Jeff Strand, ever hear of him? He listed some books for sale on his website, signed. So I had to jump on. So I want to show you, not only do they have the mass market paperback novelization from Encyclopocalypse, but it is signed in person by the Jeff Strand. And here is the trade size version. And included, I stuck this paper in here, I don't remember why, is a printed letter, thank you letter for your purchase. And I'll let you look. But at the top, he's addressed it Timothy by hand, a printed letter, and he signed it at the bottom. So a neat little thing that I'll keep in the book as part of the collection. But here is the trade size soft cover, and it is also signed in person by the Jeff Strand. It was a lot easier to say that the second time. What else did I get? I bought this right here. Well, what do you know? Actually, I had the book, but I was on Facebook and somebody popped up on something saying, hey, CD Cemetery Dance is selling a bunch of junk. Among them is old slipcases. And this particular slipcase, it was a Stephen King red slipcase. They didn't tell you what it was for, but they said this slipcase, which was around 20 bucks, fits this book flawlessly. And this is the signed limited edition of The Exorcist and Legion by William Peter Blatty, signed by William Peter Blatty. And this slipcase fits perfectly. So I had a shot and I took it. I've been wanting a slipcase for that book because I'd seen them over the years, people selling them with the slipcase, and my edition didn't have one. I didn't know where the slipcases came from, if they came with some books or what the deal was, but hey, now I got one that fits. So as a book slipcase haul on the eBay from Cemetery Dance. Next, I want to talk about a big stack, multiple boxes of books that I got from VJ Books, a company that sells signed books, trade edition books typically, signed by the author. And they've decided to close up shop, to retire, sell off all their stuff, and the prices just kept coming down and down and down and down and down until they got to something like the $6 range. And I decided, hey, I got to go see what they got before it's all gone. And they still had some books, signed first edition, first print hardcover books from some authors that I collect that I didn't already have signed versions of. So there's some authors like David Morrell. He's one of the first authors I started collecting back in 2000. And I had a lot of first edition, first print trade hardcover books of his. They're worth nothing really. They're not valuable books. But I like the author, I like the book, so I wanted to have something on my shelves to represent. And over the years, I've sort of, from here and there, now and then, get a signed version of that to replace the unsigned version that I have. I've done that with a lot of the stuff I collect, a lot of the authors over the years. Signed is better to me. So, going through their stacks and looking for David Morrell books, I picked up some. This one is Ruler of the Night, and it is one of the Thomas De Quincey novels. There's 3 of them that David Morrell wrote, and this is number 2 and 3. I already had a signed trade version of the first one and the limited edition version of the first one from Cemetery Dance, but there we go. So I got those to add to my David Morrell collection. Other David Morrell books, The Spy Who Came for Christmas, and I didn't show you the signature pages on those, but a lot of times VJ Books would have them signed directly on the title page. Sometimes they would have tipped in signature pages in there, so you don't always know what you're going to get. But signed books are my thing. And so here is Scavenger. This is a sort of a sequel to Creepers, which I'll show you here in a second. Good books. I strongly recommend David Morrell and signed first edition, first print books. Like I said, Creepers here. Creepers is the first of this little set. It stars the same characters, very different story, but good stuff. One more from David Morrell, and that is Extreme Denial. And that was, I think I've read dang near every David Morrell book, but there is a tipped in signature page. So a tipped in page that's signed. So they would do that some with their stuff. Other books I picked up from VJ Books to add to my collection. John Corey series from Nelson DeMille. I love that series. I love the set. But Wildfire. I had Wildfire, just like I said, but mine wasn't signed. So I had a chance to get a signed version from VJ Books, and there I did. I jumped on, and I got it. And one more from the John Corey set, Nelson DeMille, and that is also signed right there, Radiant Angel. And the John Corey series is a series that I love. I didn't read the first book first. The first book is Plum Island, and I didn't read that first. I read the second book, The Lion. I think it was called The Lion. Was it called The Lion or The Lion's Game? They screwed me. The Lion's Game was the second book. I read it first. Then I went back and read the first book, Plum Island. But I read the second book first, and I really liked it. And I went back and read Plum Island, and I liked it even more. Great series, great set. John Corey reminds me a little bit of Die Hard, the actor, the character on Die Hard. What's his name? John. Can't remember his name. John. Bruce Willis's character's name from Die Hard, John, not John Corey. Anyway, reminds me a whole lot of John McClane from Die Hard. And that kind of banter, that smart aleckness, that bravado, all that stuff. John Corey reminds me a lot of that, and I like the book. Another one. This one is from Robert B. Parker. It is the second book in the Jesse Stone series, made popular by the series of movies starring Tom Selleck. Jesse Stone in the book is quite a bit different than Tom Selleck, and the stories aren't exactly the same either, but both good set of movies, good set of books. Robert B. Parker is a little bit more famous for his Spencer series, but the Jesse Stone series is sweet as well. What else? So I got 3 more books from VJ, and then I got something else I want to show you. And this is a set of books from F. Paul Wilson, one of my very favorite authors, Walking God's Green Earth. And let's look at them in order. Panacea, The God Gene, and The Void Protocol. And these are, I got to admit, medical thrillers that I actually have not read yet from F. Paul Wilson. I've read so many F. Paul Wilson books, but there are some of his medical thrillers that I haven't read. I've read some, and there's some that I haven't read, but I haven't read this set yet, but I will. All it takes is time. I got the books. Now I just need the time. I got 2 more that I want to show you, both from a guy by the name of Robert McCammon. Ever hear of him? Now, I just recently did a review of this book, Mr. Slaughter. Up until then, I had 3 versions of that book. I had the Arc from Levin Publications, trade softcover, and then I also had the regular trade softcover version from Levin Publications, both of which Robert McCammon signed for me. One was already signed, one I got him to sign. And then I had a library book that I read. But I went out and I bought a first edition, first print, trade hardcover, and hopefully later this year at the Leviathan debut premiere party at the bookstore up in Birmingham. I forgot the name. All of a sudden it's gone. The brain is gone. But he usually does one for every book, and I'll plan on being there this year when he debuts Leviathan, and I want to get this one signed as well. It's a first edition, first print, unsigned. Signed is better. But I did get one more Robert McCammon book, and it was a glaring hole in my collection. One of the signed limited editions that I did not have was The Five, published by Subterranean Press. And as you can see, a nice, beautiful, leatherish covered slipcase, which I do love slipcases. And we'll open her up here. I wrapped the dust jacket in Brodart, which I do for all of my dust jackets, but it is The Five by Robert McCammon, and Subterranean Press did a beautiful version of this book. Look at the leather-bound hardcover book. Hot foil stamping on the spine. Look at there. End papers with artwork. Nice. Way to go, Subterranean Press. And it is signed and it is numbered. And it does have interior illustrations. This one is copy number 268 of only 274 numbered copies. Signed by Robert McCammon. And I'm going to show you just a little bit of the artwork included here because they did a great job with this book. Subterranean Press no longer publishes Robert McCammon books. Levin Publications does. But on this one, Subterranean Press pulled out all the stops. Full of interior artwork, beautiful materials, beautifully bound, a very nice slipcase, and like I said, some interior illustrations. We'll figure out who the illustrator was in just a moment. Just a moment. I'll look it up. I can't remember now. But I want to show you these pictures because there are quite a few. Considerably more than I typically will expect from Subterranean Press. And I think I just passed one. I hate it when I miss a thing, but I might have skipped one there. I don't know. Couldn't find it when I went back. But I'll try to show you what I can show you. Beautiful artwork. Beautiful. It looks so good. Glad to have this one on the shelf. Like I said, it was a glaring hole. I'm a collector of Robert McCammon books. And I love signed limited edition books. They are my favorite way to travel, favorite way to collect books anyway. And this one was one that I was missing. And now that I have it, I want to tell you, dust jacket and interior illustrations for the limited and lettered editions, copyright 2011 by Vincent Chong. Go figure. Who would have thunked it? Anyway, Vincent Chong, dust jacket artwork, as well as interior illustrations. So this one was, as far as my book haul video, the one that's been on the list of books that I gotta have for years, and one that I just never ended up buying because when I see opportunities, the price would be too high. I'm a person that likes to have things, but I like to buy them right. I don't want to get my pants pulled down over price, and so a lot of times I wait and just hope that opportunity meets availability, or whatever you want to call it, that the price is right, and I, with patience and persistence, eventually will get the books I'm looking for. You just got to practice the art of PP. I have PP. Sometimes I have PP, patience and persistence. But anyway, I can think of no more lies to tell. That's a whole lot of books. Thank you for your time. I do truly appreciate it. C'est la vie, baby. Doo-doo. This is pretty much the worst time machine ever. It doesn't even think it'll work half the time.